All right, we're feeling a little cooped up, so we're gonna go for a drive, not hang out anywhere or be out in public really, but just go drive around, get some light and just see what's going on, get out of the house for a little bit. Alright, now it is actually the next morning, but I'm gonna go over yesterday. First thing, I woke up and did some reading. Then I walked over to the kitchen, made some breakfast, some eggs and potatoes. Then I continued editing the engagement session video that I've been cutting up. After that, I got caught up on editing these daily recaps, as well as doing a light workout. After getting those out of the way, Arnie and I hung out for a couple hours, and then we decided to head out for a little bit and go take a drive to see what's kind of going on, get some fresh air, get some sunlight, and just kind of explore, just since we've been stuck in the house for the last 2 weeks. The highways at 4 p.m. on the Beltway here in the DC area were like 2 a.m. on a typical night. A few cars here and there, I mean probably a handful of cars around you at any given time, which is super rare. Normally you only see that in the middle of the night, and even sometimes in the middle of the night there's a bunch of traffic because it's shut down for construction or detours or things like that. So it was kind of eerie being out on the huge beltway with only a few cars around in the middle of the day. That's something that you never see. So a lot of people are practicing social distancing and just staying at home here in the area, and that's good to see. We decided to swing by DC and drive by the National Mall area to see kind of what was going on around there. And a lot of the exits to actually access the National Mall monuments were blocked off with cop cars and barrels to limit people flocking to the National Mall. So I understand why they would want to limit the gathering of so many people in one area, because everyone's cooped up and they decide, well, we'll just go out to a park because you can social distance there. But so many people have that idea that it ends up becoming overcrowded and not really a safe area. And as we drove by, we saw tons of people running on the path, biking on the path, jogging, exercising next to the path. And it just seemed a little sketchy because so many people running in such a tight area, people breathing heavy on each other and just running right past each other or behind each other or interweaving between each other. It seemed a little too close for my comfort, so obviously we didn't get out, we just drove by and kept it moving. But just even being out in the car and feeling the sunlight on my hand or on my arm while driving around felt completely rejuvenating. So it was really nice to get out and just absorb some sun for a little bit without actually being in the community around a bunch of people and putting ourselves at risk in that way. So we maintained our social distance, we got to explore a little bit, drive around, see what's going on without actually endangering anybody. Our last stop before heading home was Tyson's Mall, or Tyson's Galleria, or Tyson's Corner Center here in McLean, Virginia. Now Tyson Center is one of the top 10 malls in the country consistently, and we drove through there and the parking lot was completely empty. We rode around, no cars whatsoever, except near the entrance there were a couple cars and mostly a few police vehicles. Near the main entrance there were a couple cars, but other than that, completely nothing. Completely empty, just a ghost town, which was really eerie because, like I said, it's one of the top 10 malls in the country consistently, and there's always people overrunning that mall. So seeing that was kind of crazy. And the few people that were parked towards the front entrance were just getting food. So they were probably ordering takeout from, I think there's a Shake Shack in there and Panera. So they were just getting to-go food. They weren't actually shopping. The only two people shopping in Tyson's Corner that day were these two people. So, yeah. Once we got back home, we felt a little better since we got out, and we watched the movie, played a game. We played Pass the Pigs together for the first time, and after going 1-1, Arnie won the tiebreaker, so I have a score to settle there. But it was fun. Got to play some Pass the Pigs, throw some pigs around. If you don't know the game, look it up. It's fun. It's a silly little game. It's quick, easy, simple to play. It's a good time. Finally, at the end of the night, got our taxes finished, which is great because between photography, our day jobs, and the leadership team that we work with, doing our taxes can be somewhat complicated and complex at times. So gathering all that information and getting it finished is a huge deal, and we're really happy that that is out of the way. And as far as news updates, the president has decided to extend the social distancing to at least April 30th. We've got at least another month here, so we'll just keep it going. All in all, it was a great day. Probably the most enjoyable day that I've had since we've been stuck at home. Probably since I got to hang out with Arnie most of the day, and we got to do a little exploring, and we got out of the house and got back home, played some games, watched the movie. So it was a good night. It was a good day. I really enjoyed it. And now we're kicking off Monday, so we'll get this day started. Let's go.